We're not hearing you. You're muted.
I want to see now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chef Storytime. I'm here at Whitehall Mill Market with Taste Wise Kids. We're partnering today with the Enoch Pratt Library and True Chesapeake Restaurant, and we're so excited to have all of you joining us. Whether you're watching virtually live with us or you're watching this later, we're really excited to have you all here and welcome.
It's two.
Okay, so in March, we gather with everyone to celebrate and honor Women's History Month. We have a wonderful story today to share with you all about some great ways, some great accomplishments that women have had. We have a wonderful pastry chef here as well, and we can't wait to get started. Are you all ready to get started? Yay! Yay!
I can't see. Can you turn it that way?
So at the end of our story time, our chef is going to show us how to do something really, really cool with a mystery food item. So I have some clues for you to be thinking about what we might be doing later. So the first clue is I come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Think about what that might be. I am sweet. I am fun to decorate, and you might be able to do that at home or later. And I'm usually baked in the oven. So think about pizza. I heard cupcake. Do you have an idea? Anyone?
Cookies.
Hi. Cookies. So you're going to learn how to decorate a cookie in a really cool way that might be just the newest thing you're going to love. So I'm excited to get started. So we're going to have our pastry chef, Kathleen. You're going to meet her in a few minutes after the story from True Chesapeake. We're going to have a reading of Who Says Women Can't Be Doctors by Miss Allie from the Pratt Street Library. Take a minute to talk a little bit about the story and then to see a really cool cooking technique. So without further ado, let's get started. Miss Allie.
Right here.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Storytime. My name is Miss Allie, and I work at the Enoch Pratt Free Library.
We can't understand you.
Okay, today we are going to read a story called Who Says Women Can't Be Doctors? Before I do, let's sing a welcome song. So this song, you might know, is The More We Get Together, and I'm going to sing it with some baby signs. So the sign for more goes like this. You take your little fingertips and you tap them together. So this is a sign for more. And the sign for together, you take your two fists and put your thumbs up a little and move them around together like they're dancing together. We also have another sign. This is one of my favorite signs. It's friends, and it goes like this, like they're hugging together, friends. And the final sign is happy. It goes like this, like you're elated, you're happy. And so let's see if we can try to use those signs while we sing our song together. So here's The More We Get Together. It goes like this. The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. Oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. So that's our welcome song. And now we should start with our story. It says, Who Says Women Can't Be Doctors? The story of Elizabeth Blackwell. And it's written by Tanya Le Stone, and the illustrator is Marjorie Priceman. And special thanks to Macmillan for allowing us to read and share this story with you today. I'm going to take the jacket off so it's a little easier to read. So here we go. Who says women can't be doctors? And there's also a dedication. It says, for Liza, who is strong and brave, and will be anything she sets her mind to. Some little illustrations there too. So, let's start our story. I'll bet you've met plenty of doctors in your life, and I bet lots of them were women. Well, you might find this hard to believe, But there once was a time where girls weren't allowed to become doctors. Back in the 1830s, there were lots of things girls couldn't be. Girls were only supposed to become wives and mothers, or maybe teachers, or seamstresses. There's a wedding. This is a factory. Being a doctor was definitely not an option. What do you think changed all of that? Or should I say, who? Who do we think changed all of this? Elizabeth Blackwell, that's who. A tiny wisp of a girl who wanted to explore every corner and who never walked away from a challenge. This was a girl who had once carried her brother over her head until he backed down from their fight. A girl who tried sleeping on the hard floor with no covers just to toughen herself up. Then she was on the floor. A girl who climbed up to the roof and stretched out far as possible with a spyglass to see what was happening on the other side of town. Here's the town. But she hadn't always wanted to be a doctor. Actually, blood made her queasy. One time, her teacher used a bull's eyeball to show students how eyes work, and Elizabeth was repulsed. And she hadn't always wanted to help the sick. She had no patience for being sick herself. Whenever she felt ill, she simply went outside for a walk. Once, when she was little, she hid in a closet until she felt better. She hated anyone fussing over her. She is in her closet. She doesn't want people fussing over her. So why did she become the first woman doctor? Because one person believed she could and told Elizabeth she was just the kind of smart, determined girl who would change the world. That person was Mary Donaldson. When Elizabeth was 24, she went to visit her friend who was very ill. Mary told Elizabeth that she would have much preferred being examined by a woman. She urged Elizabeth to consider becoming a doctor. At first, Elizabeth could not believe her ears. Even if a girl could be a doctor, why would she want to be one? But Mary's idea gnawed at Elizabeth, a female doctor. Elizabeth thought about it the second she got up in the morning. She thought about it during sewing circles. She thought about it over tea. She even dreamed about it at night. Finally, Elizabeth asked doctors and friends. Some thought it was a good idea, but didn't think there was any way it could be done. Others said it wasn't right. And here this man is saying to her, "Women are too weak for such hard work. Women aren't smart enough." These all things are not true. Some people actually laughed at her. They thought she was joking. Elizabeth didn't see anything funny about a woman becoming a doctor. Elizabeth thought it was a fine idea, and her family supported her. She worked as a teacher to earn money and applied to a handful of medical schools, but they all sent back the same answer: no. No women allowed. She tried other schools. More letters arrived at her door. One by one, the answer was always the same: no, 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 no. 28 no's in all. In different ways, the letters all said the same thing: women cannot be doctors. They should not be doctors. But Elizabeth didn't believe in couldn't or shouldn't. She refused to give up. She was as stubborn as a mule, quite rightly. One day, an envelope arrived from a college. She opened it and everything changed. The answer was yes. Elizabeth packed her bags for Geneva Medical School in upstate New York. The townspeople were expecting her. As she walked down the street, some pointed and stared. They whispered to themselves that she must be wicked or crazy. Elizabeth thought that at least the students wanted her there, except they didn't. People were gossiping about her. The teacher had let the students vote on whether or not to allow Elizabeth to come. And the boys, figuring the school would never really accept a girl, said yes. They planned to turn the whole thing into a big joke. But the joke was on them. Their raucous laughter turned to silence as the ladylike Elizabeth took her seat. They wondered what kind of girl she was, the kind of girl who wouldn't take the bait. Some thought a girl wouldn't be able to keep up, except Elizabeth did keep up, often studying past midnight. Elizabeth proved she was as smart as any boy, and soon the boys wanted to know what Elizabeth thought about this or that. It took the townspeople longer to accept her. Some people are afraid of anything new or different. Not Elizabeth. On January 23rd, 1849, Elizabeth graduated with the highest grades in the whole class. She had become the first woman doctor in America. Although many people were proud, others were angry. One doctor even wrote, "I hope, for the honor of humanity, that she will be the last." She is graduating. But as you know, she certainly was not. And we're glad she wasn't the last. So that is the end of our story. Did you like it? So now I think we should turn over to a woman who is a restaurant owner. This is Miss Kathleen. It's Chef Kathleen. And I think she's going to show us some bacon.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you.
Can I move my chair up a little bit? I can't see.
My name is Kathleen, and I'm a pastry chef at True Chesapeake Oyster Co. We are actually an oyster farm. We have some oyster shells here. Sometimes I actually get to farm oysters, but most of the time I get to do other things like bake in the kitchen. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about someone a woman in history that meant a lot to me, and that is Julia Child. So I have that's you. So Julia Child was someone who I look up to very much and who's inspired me in my career. And she was an amazing cook. She did so many things in food. She had television shows before any other women did. She wrote cookbooks, and she specialized in French cooking, but she was an amazing baker as well. So what I did today, I come on this side, I made one of my favorite things, which is shortbread cookies, but I decorated them in a really special way. I actually hand painted them all to look like watercolor painting. And since we're talking about food and Julia Child today, I actually painted them in fun vegetables. And I have a radish and some cooking utensils, which is the kind of thing that you think of when you are thinking about Julia Child and being a chef. And it's very fun. And I think it's really funny to put vegetables on cookies because it's like you're eating your vegetables, but you're really eating your desserts. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's a really special, but not too difficult thing to do. So what you do is there's a particular kind of marker that's actually made with food coloring so that you can eat it, so it's edible. And you make cookies, and then you use a particular kind of icing that dries very hard. It's called royal icing. The icing is really easy to make. And it dries hard, so it's almost like a canvas that you can paint on. So you can use these markers and draw things, and you don't have to use the marker. You can actually just paint with the watercolor that's edible.
On there?
You can draw anything on there, but I like to use the marker first. But you can sometimes you can just paint, and it's a very fun technique. And I'll show you how to make the watercolor paint too. But I'm going to draw, since we're doing vegetables, I'm going to do another tomato because I need something easy while everyone's watching. So you just draw right on there a little tomato like that. And it looks just like you're doing it on paper. So that's how you start. And then to make the paint, you use gel food coloring, which you can get in a regular grocery store, but it's not the super watery stuff. It's the gel, but you add a little bit of water to it, so it's more like watercolor paint. So this part I'm going to stand up for. So I already have a little bit of green made. And then you put a little bit of food coloring, and then I just use this fancy little piping thing because I'm a professional, but you don't have to use that. And you drip a few drips, and you mix it together like paint. So it's just like watercolor. Yeah.
My favorite color.
We're doing a tomato. Just like watercolor paint.
Can I dry after?
And then you can just paint right on the cookie. And it's really easy and very fun. It's like art and baking at the same time, which is my favorite kind of baking. So there's our red tomato.
I love it.
And I have a little bit of green. And we can paint his little stem. And there you go. Tomato cookies.
Very cool. And I would add the book, it says like, you know, so you think women can't be doctors. Well, women can be chefs, women can be firefighters, women can be scientists and astronauts, and women can really be anything. And I wanted to say thank you to Kathleen and to the Pratt Library for being with us today. And anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Happy Women's History Month.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wrap it in the my cookie.